Welcome back, and today we're going to talk about the S.R.A. So please, at the bottom of the page there's a subscribe button, and hit that button. Today we're going to talk about the S.R.A. and what happened. In 1969 was the revival of the United States Speedway back to Costa Mesa Speedway, and it was really big, and we're going to talk about it right now. Today we're going to examine the S.R.A., the Speedway Racing Association, and exactly what it did. It was really big, and actually a friend of mine told me that there's nowhere on the internet that the S.R.A. is written. So that inspired me to do this blog. So we're going to talk about that, exactly what the S.R.A. did. I speculate that Jack Milne, the 1937 United States Speedway World Champion, he was involved in the S.R.A. as he was a former racer, and he revived Costa Mesa Speedway with the Godfather, Harry Oxley, in 1969. I think Jack Milne was a part of the S.R.A. from what I remember vaguely. And the S.R.A., you had to wear a Speedway patch. This Speedway patch on your left shoulder if you wanted to be a racer for the S.R.A. The S.R.A. went ahead and made the laws and regulations for the Speedway. They actually had a book, and they told you what tire you're supposed to run, all the rules and regulations about fuel and everything. The S.R.A. was a governing body, and it regulated what the Speedway riders did and didn't do. Also, the S.R.A. regulated the purse, how much money the racers are going to get. And the S.R.A. guaranteed 30% or maybe more of the gate for the racers. So the racers on a full night at Costa Mesa made a lot of money. I remember being a child, and I always read the Register newspaper, the Orange County Register, and it talked about Mike Bass. He won like double mains, the handicap and scratch main, many times. And it said that Mike Bass made like $1,000 in the Philippine money. That's like 50,000 pesos in one night. So that was good. In 1970s, that was amazing. There's like 6,000 screaming fans. There was fights in the stands. There was all kinds of action. People pouring beer on each other. It was wild. You had Gene, the dancing machine. Everything was crazy at Costa Mesa, and it was fun. The racers made a lot of money. I remember as a young 17-year-old Speedway rider, 17 years old, can you believe that? And Jerry used to take me along and take me to the S.R.A. meetings in Pasadena, California. The meetings were held near Jack Milne's shop, and I think Jack Milne was a part of that. I can't remember, but I think I saw him there. And they went ahead and had this intense meeting for like 3 hours every Monday night, I believe it was, or Wednesday. I think it was Monday. And they went ahead, and the secretary was there, Lou Schneider, and I forgot her name, Schneister or something. Lou is a lady. And Jerry was there as presiding president of the S.R.A. And they went ahead and talked about all the rules and regulations. It was a long, boring meeting. I remember as a Speedway rider, and my attention span was really small. You know, most young people, they like 2 minutes and they're like, I'm out of here. I was like sleeping during the meetings, and Jerry was intense trying to help the people. One day I was at Jerry's shop. I had just won the main event at Costa Mesa. I was very happy. I was working on my bike, and I was just very happy. Jerry was helping me, and I turned and I looked at Jerry, and he looked like he was going to cry. he had a face that I never saw before. And I said, hey, Jerry, is there something wrong? And Jerry said, yeah, Brian. And I said, well, what is it? Talk to me. And he said, Harry Oxley went ahead and cut the S.R.A. There's no more S.R.A. And I said, what? And he said, yeah, it's cut. Harry Oxley doesn't want the S.R.A. no more. He said that the racers were not going to make no money from now on, that they were going to regulate a certain purse and that they would race for trophies. The racers would race for trophies and little money. And Jerry was sad. He was sad for the riders because he knew that the days of the Speedway, the glory days of the Speedway in the United States would come to an end. The next week at Costa Mesa came and Jerry said, there's no more Speedway. We're all picketing. And I said, what? And he said, all the Speedway riders are going to picket Costa Mesa Speedway. And that Friday was there, and all the riders were standing at the entrance of the Costa Mesa Fairgrounds. They had picket signs. Even the announcer, Larry Huffman, had a picket sign that said, we will work for food. All the riders were picketing, and I saw Harry Oxley and his beloved wife Marilyn, rest in peace Marilyn. They were out there, just couldn't believe it. And all the people were turning around. There was no Speedway for like 4 or 5 weeks. And in a way, that was the end of Speedway as we know it. The glory days of Speedway came to an end as they went ahead and cut the S.R.A., cut the purse, and the riders now were mostly riding for trophies. Sad to say, Jerry was right again. Speedway never was the same after the S.R.A. was disbanded. There's nowhere on the internet you can find out about this except for right here. I only knew about it because Jerry was my tuner and I worked with the president of the S.R.A. and I heard all about it. And I had to stick with Jerry because he was my tuner. I had to stick with my team. And from that point, everything changed, my racing and everything, because we could not ride at Costa Mesa because Jerry Fairchild was boycotting Costa Mesa Speedway. I could not ride Costa Mesa anymore, and that really sucked. I was doing really good. I was winning a lot of handicap mains, and then no more. I didn't know where to ride. There was no other track. But Louis Kossuth said, we're starting a track at the Santa Ana Bowl, Brian. You want to ride? And I said, I want to ride Speedway anywhere because I couldn't ride Costa Mesa because of Jerry. And I went ahead and raced at Santa Ana Bowl with Wild Bill Cody, Radical Randy Marsh, Denny Pyatt, and the Cowboy, John Cook. It was a cast of a few castaways and we had a good time. And there were some good riders there, other good riders. And we raced and I had a really good season. I started off in D2, ended up in D1, and was #1 in points at the Santa Ana Bowl. I was riding from like the 50-yard line and winning. I swept the program twice and I won lots of main events. It was really fun racing around that quarter mile, but no more Costa Mesa. Even though I had success at Santa Ana Bowl, I was empty because I could not ride at the Costa Mesa Fairgrounds. I love Costa Mesa and I could not ride there anymore. Well, that's it for S.R.A., the Speedway Racing Association. Jerry Fairchild said some 45 years ago that the riders would be racing for trophies and a little money. And he was right. He prophesied many things and everything came to be true. One of the Speedway riders today, just a few weeks ago, the mother contacted me and was chatting. I won't mention her name. And she said that her son, who's a very famous current Speedway rider on the circuit, young fast rider, he needed more money. Maybe she wanted a sponsorship because there's no money in the current Speedway. And she said she had to work 2 jobs. She had to work her butt off. In the old days, they were making $1,000 a night. And now the mothers had to work their buns off to support the children's Speedway. Things have changed. The glory days of Speedway are gone forever, which is sad. We in the Speedway sport, we love Speedway, and we never wanted that to end. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing to my channel. At the bottom, there's a button. So please like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell.